Now, from West Tennessee's News Channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News at 10.
Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. That's what West Tennessee lawmakers say they'll focus on as they return to Nashville today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Douglas.
And I'm Kelly McAllister. The second session of the 107th Tennessee General Assembly convened at noon today, and we were there for the pomp and circumstance, but more importantly, to ask what lawmakers plan to do for West Tennesseans. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Daniel Wilkerson has more.
Members, please stand.
And with that, legislators kicked off their first legislative session of 2012.
Mark Twain said that the legislature's in session and nobody's person or property is safe.
But Senator Roy Herron of Dresden says during the upcoming year, he hopes people back home don't echo the sentiment of the poet.
My main priority is to make sure we don't hurt people.
I'm sure that this week we'll spend a lot of time, most of our time, on the reapportionment process.
Lawmakers say Tuesday the House voted in favor of giving the Democratic caucus more time to review the proposed redistricting plan.
I just want to be sure that that all the districts are fair, that the local governments are taken into consideration, that we keep communities, counties, and cities whole and not divide them.
People ought to pick the politicians, not the politicians pick the people.
I think there'll be a few little bumps in the road that we'll have to work with and discuss and debate.
But while lawmakers say redistricting is a hot topic, they say it won't be the focus this year.
A recurring theme among all the legislators we talk to, jobs. They say it's the #1 priority.
We need to get the unemployment rate down, put people back to work.
Another huge issue for lawmakers, public education.
I'm very concerned about what we're doing with public education.
State Senator Roy Herron says there were things done last year he feels weren't in the best interest of children or taxpayers.
They're siphoning all tax dollars and putting them into private pockets.
Senator Herron says millions of dollars are flowing from Tennessee taxpayers to out-of-state private companies. It's one of many issues lawmakers say they hope to make right during 2012. In Nashville, Daniel Wilkerson, 7 Eyewitness News.
Lawmakers say they hope to vote on the redistricting plan sometime next week.
New at 10, Jackson firefighters remain on the scene of a house fire that sparked just more than an hour ago. This was the scene around 9 o'clock tonight in the 300 block of Division Avenue. Fire crews reported seeing smoke and flames shooting from the back of the house when they arrived, but were able to get the fire under control in less than an hour. Crews say it's too early to say what caused that fire. It's unclear to anyone or if anyone was at home at the time.
Agents from the Secret Service served a search warrant at Bowles Discount Grocery in Humboldt today. The Secret Service is saying only that today agents removed items from the store that could serve as evidence in an ongoing investigation. The Secret Service says this is a joint investigation with the Department of Agriculture's Inspector General's office, but would not say anything further. No charges have been filed, and again, this is an ongoing investigation.
A man has been wounded in an exchange of gunfire with Chattanooga police. 25-year-old Christopher Upshaw and 20-year-old Jermichael Nicholson are accused of opening fire on Chattanooga officers responding to a burglary call at a home this afternoon. Upshaw was wounded in the face and neck area, but is reportedly in stable condition. Nicholson was not injured.
A Gibson County man who pleaded guilty to exposing himself in a North Jackson neighborhood has been sentenced to 24 hours of community service. 19-year-old Bobby Simpson appeared in Jackson City Court this morning, where police say he pleaded guilty to indecent exposure. Investigators say he exposed himself to a woman and performed a simulated sex act on himself. The incident happened in the Windchase neighborhood back in November. Investigators say the victim was teaching a group of homeschool students when she looked out her window and saw Simpson. Simpson has also been ordered to pay all court costs.
A Mexican national who used Nashville as a home base to produce fake ID cards for illegal immigrants has been sentenced to 6 years in federal prison on racketeering conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say the 25-year-old Ivan Zarate Curry was the leader of the Nashville cell of the Mexico-based enterprise that had operations in 11 states. Zarate Curry will be deported after serving his sentence.
The Jackson City Council is taking a new approach to monitoring how much money is given to local nonprofit groups. The Nonprofit Review Committee was established by the City Council in October and met today for the first time. Its goal is to examine how much money is given to these groups and how it's used to better the city. The chairman says this examination will help later when the full council considers any budget cuts.
We're going to look at how many people they serve, what their mission is, whether or not they are funded federally or by the state government, and to see exactly what they're doing for our residents here in the city of Jackson.
The committee plans to make a full recommendation to the City Council for approval in March.
Well, that rain definitely moved in, and it is falling all over the area. Some of it rather heavy. Some areas are getting some minor flooding. We've seen some ponding on roadways, so if you're going to be driving a little bit later on, be very careful. Here's what the numbers look like for today. Our high was 55-45, the low 48 and 28. The normal record high temperature in 1949 was 73 degrees with a record low of -3 degrees in 1982. Rainfall amounts have been pretty high in some locations. Out at the airport, not that much, but here at the station, we picked up about a ½ inch of rain today. 4,407 inches our year-to-date total officially from McKellar Regional Airport. Now let's take a look at Fast Track 7. It is going to show all that rainfall across the Mid-South, and some of it's still very heavy, and we may have some more heavy rain move through the area before the night is over. And we actually heard the rumble of thunder for a while, and might even get a little bit more of that as we go through the night. Here's what we do expect over the next few days. More showers tomorrow. It's going to cool down, which could bring us some snowfall. Temperatures are going to get pretty cold. In fact, they'll be down in the teens. We'll look at the forecast in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thanks, Gary. In East Tennessee, crews have begun demolishing the remains of a basin wall that collapsed last year at the GATLINBURG wastewater treatment plant, killing 2 men. Millions of gallons of raw sewage leaked into the nearby Little Pigeon River in the Smoky Mountains resort town last April. The wall removal is expected to be done within 45 days. State inspectors blamed faulty construction on the wall collapse.
Some city mayors in Gibson County say they're worried that a possible sales tax increase could force them to raise property taxes as well. In March, some Gibson County voters will decide if they want to raise the county's sales tax to 2.75%. The local sales tax rate for most of the bigger Gibson County cities is already 2.75%, and because county taxes preempt city taxes, well, those cities will lose sales tax revenues if the measure passes. Mayors in the larger cities such as Milan and Trenton say they're upset because the measure won't be on the March ballots, but will be on the smaller towns with lower sales tax rates such as Bradford and Yorkville.
Is major. It's going to cause us to have to raise property taxes here. Or it's going to cause us to either lay off maybe 6 to 8 employees, or a combination of both.
If passed, the sales tax hike would go into effect July 1st.
Paper and pencils are a thing of the past at Sacred Heart High School in Jackson. That's because it's truly a 21st century school. As part of the first-year program, all 60 students paid a $500 technology fee and were given iPads. Once they graduate, they'll be able to keep the tablets, but for now, they're used in every aspect of learning. Even students with disabilities are able to use special apps to help them learn. School leaders say the goal of the 21st century program is to stay ahead of the technology curve.
It's a big switch for us, but I think a lot of us are getting used to that, the fact that we don't use pen and paper very often anymore, but we can't always go back to it. However, we use the iPad a lot for taking notes and writing papers and essays and research. The internet on our iPads is very helpful at school and at home.
Shelby County is the only other place in West Tennessee that the 21st century program is in use.
Still ahead, heavy snowfall in Texas is delaying one important means of transportation.
And later, an elderly Arkansas woman almost became a criminal after she tried to help a stranger. We'll have those details when we come back.